I think the first key lesson has been not to judge a book by its cover. We all know this proverb and it's so true, but the thing with Palermo is it's not a perfect city, and a lot of people look down on this city as a result because it can be quite dirty and chaotic and poor, and there are many things that are not quite right with the way that this city works. However, there is so much beauty here, and as many local people here will tell you, it is not the city that isn't beautiful, but it is unfortunately the way that some people behave here, because there is so much beauty. I'm sitting here in one of the nature reserves here in Sfericavallo, and it is exceptional. The water, the beaches, the architecture. There are so many beautiful things about this city that make me see that there is more to Palermo than meets the eye. And I think this has been one of the biggest lessons that living here has taught me. I kind of love to discover places which have real heart and soul, and I think that this is what this place has, because you see, I'm not really one for like the fake perfection, you know, like Amalfi and other parts of Italy which are like essentially bubbles. I'm really more one for places that are actually really, really beautiful on a much deeper level. And so I think this is what living here in Palermo has really taught me, that it's a completely imperfect city, but there is so much beauty and goodness to it. And so you should never ever judge a book by its cover. Get to know somewhere first before you decide if it's really the right place for you. The second key lesson for me has been to learn to appreciate things more. This has been a really big lesson living here in Palermo, because there are so many people who live in this city who don't appreciate just what they have. I see people that treat the streets as open rubbish bins. I see people who are just so ignorant when it comes to the maintenance of a city and neighbourhoods. And I just think you just do not realise how lucky you are. And I think, you know, living here has made me realise that. Learn to appreciate what you have. And I think sometimes when I found living here really, really difficult because of how chaotic and crazy it can be, it has just been a matter of reminding myself of just what goodness there actually is here in Palermo, and how lucky I am to live somewhere where there's palm trees, where there's cacti, where I've got beautiful azure blue water, and temperatures like how it is now at the beginning of March, which is like 21 degrees. I don't even need a jacket. Like, you know, these are the beautiful aspects of living here. And I think as much as it can be really, really easy sometimes just to focus in on the negative parts, because they are the parts that bother people the most, there is so much beauty to be found here. And I think that is something that I need to keep reminding myself of, and it's a beautiful lesson. Learn to appreciate things more, and I hope that in the future people that live here can learn to appreciate this city more as well, because really there is so much beauty to be found here. It's a shame that people just can't see it for themselves. The third key lesson has been to go with the flow of life more. This has been a really beautiful lesson for me to learn. I think I picked up on this when I lived in Salerno, but really living here in Palermo has cemented for me just how important it is to kind of loosen up a little bit and go with the flow of things more. Life here in Palermo is easy on many respects in terms of the flow of life. People are very relaxed about things that need to be done, deadlines, things like this. And whilst on one hand it can be frustrating if you've got things that you need to get done, on the other hand it can be really beautiful to live more in the present moment and not be so rigid and fixed on deadlines and getting things done by a certain time. And so I do appreciate in a way this kind of free flowing attitude that can be found here sometimes in Palermo, and I do appreciate it because I think life is this, isn't it? Like, life is not meant to be scheduled down to a T. As much as I like to do this, and I'm very guilty of doing this, I realise that it's not necessarily the best way to live. Life requires spontaneity, and some of my best moments here in Palermo, here in Italy in general, have been when I've been spontaneous and not when I've planned something weeks in advance. And that's the magic of living in the moment and going with the flow a little bit more. It doesn't have to be the way that you live your entire life, but certainly if you can integrate that into parts of your life, I think you really, really do appreciate things a lot more. So Palermo for me has been this. I have so many mixed feelings about leaving. At the beginning, I was really sad because I really felt like I had started to settle here and create a life for myself here. And then as I've sat with the decision and the weeks have rolled on, I've become more settled with the idea, and I realised that this was a chapter in my life that I needed. I needed to learn the lessons that I've learned here. I needed to become the woman that I've become here, and I needed to have the experiences that I've had here. And ultimately, Palermo is always going to remain in my heart. My writing will forever be in the historical centre as a result, and I kind of feel like I will never ever leave Palermo in a way. It's been a great experience, and I think I really appreciate this city so much more. And I've had my eyes wide opened as well, because it really isn't easy here, and that's why I've been so realistic with all of you on my channel. But it is also an exceptionally beautiful place to be, and I know that when I return back to Palermo in the future, on future trips and visits, I'm going to appreciate it so much more, having lived here now for all of this time.